What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the channel. My name is John, and in this video, we're answering a question I get all the time, which is, what credit card should I get next? Now, this question is so loaded because everyone's credit profile is so different. So what I've decided to do is answer this question with the minimum recommended credit card you should have by age. In addition, I'm hopeful by the end of this video, not only will you have a really solid understanding of which credit card you should get by age, but what credit scores should accommodate that. Sound like a deal? Tap that thumb icon to spread the good word, subscribe if you like, and we're gonna dive right into it. The methodology is going to break down as such. First, we're going to describe what age bracket. Next, we'll discuss what rough credit score range. After that, what tier is a credit card, whether it's an entry-level, mid-level, or top-tier card. And we'll break down the annual fee, the sign-up bonus required, and the minimum spend for that bonus. Lifestyle considerations, and lastly, a couple of cards I recommend you to look at. There are a couple of things to keep in mind as we progress through the video. The first is the most important, which is these are minimums. At a minimum, I would recommend you getting XYZ card, meaning you can certainly get above any of my recommendations. So if I were to recommend an entry-level card, but you feel like you're ready for a mid-tier or top-tier card, that's totally okay. These are just the minimum requirements I think folks should have at that particular age bracket. Second thing is, unlike net worth, which increases as a function of your age, when it comes to credit cards, that's not necessarily the case. And for most folks, you might not necessarily want that. That's okay. You're going to see that in this guide, it kind of skews to folks in their 20s and 30s, because I think that's where people are gonna first start out when it comes to building a strong credit profile and starting to get more credit cards. But that's not to say if you're in your 40s and 50s, you can't use this guide. Just simply scale it and match it to where you are in your credit card journey. And this is a perfect segue to talking about credit scores. Your credit score, I would say, is probably one of the most important numbers you're going to have. Having a good credit score versus a bad credit score could equate to hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential lost savings. Your credit score is made up of 5 components, and they're not all weighed equally. 35% comes from your payment history, meaning are you making payments on time? 30% comes from utilization. What that means is how much of the available credit given to you are you using every month? The more, the riskier you look. So try to keep that number low. The third component accounts for 15% of your score, and that's the average age of your credit history. One thing I want to point out here, which is a common misconception folks have, that you should never close out a card because it decreases your average age of history. Well, if you have a credit profile that's in good standing and you close out the account, it will actually continue to age on your credit profile for 10 years, giving you the benefit of the positive account as well as that credit history. 10% comes from your different types of credit mixes, whether you have a mortgage, auto, or just unsecured revolving credit. And 10% comes from inquiries, meaning when you apply for credit, someone is going to go ahead and pull your report. I would say the last two, credit mix and inquiries, they account for 20% in aggregate. I wouldn't say as are important. Whereas the first two, making payments on time, as well as keeping a low utilization, account for 65% of your score. I would say focus there. Make payments on time in full. The first age group we're going to discuss is a bit of a bonus because at this age, you don't have a ton of control over your credit history or your credit profile. And that would be the under 18 group. For maybe parents out there or folks who are under 18, what you can do is try to get added as an authorized user to someone who has a strong credit profile and a strong credit score. So parents, if you want to set your kids up for success, consider adding them on as an authorized user. And that doesn't mean that as soon as they're added as an authorized user, they can go spend willy-nilly. What you could do potentially is just add them as an authorized user and just keep the credit card. And for folks out there who are under 18, make a deal with your parents saying, hey, if you add me as an authorized user, hang on to the card. I won't even use it. The pro tip here is an authorized user will inherit some of the good credit from the primary account holder. So in essence, you're getting a leg up without having to do any of the legwork. It's a bit of a life hack, in my opinion, if you can get going with this method. Now, not everyone is blessed to have someone in their life who has strong credit willing to add them as an authorized user. But don't worry, the rest of this video will walk you through how exactly you can get started getting credit cards, even if you have a limited credit history or bad credit. The next age group, 18 to 21. Typically, individuals in this age group have fair to poor credit. Anywhere from 500 to 600 is what we see. The reason it's okay is because this is what we're here for, to start building credit. So I would recommend taking a look at cards in the tier that are considered secure or very basic student cards. These are going to have some of the lower requirements from a credit score standpoint so that you can get your foot in the door. And because they have low requirements, they typically don't carry any sort of annual fee. If there's a sign-up bonus, it'll be pretty limited to say at most $50 with a small spend requirement, or it'll be more tied to a term GPA as it comes to student cards. When it comes to lifestyle, at this point, you're likely in college with a very limited income. We're assuming a very thin credit profile. Cards I recommend that you would look at are the Discover It Secured card, as well as the Chase Freedom student card. I really like the Discover It Secured because it comes with some cashback earnings, which is really hard to come by for most secured cards. How it works is you typically put in some sort of security deposit, and then you'll be extended a line of credit equal to the security deposit. If you ever cancel a secured card, you will get your deposit back. In addition, if you're upgraded from the secured card to the unsecured version, you will also get your security deposit back. So no need to worry there. Really think of these cards as your entry point to start building a strong credit profile. Next age group, 22 to 25. The credit score we expect in this range are fair to good, in range anywhere from 600 to 700. The type of card I recommend for folks at a minimum are to start considering the entry-level cards. These cards have no annual fee, but they do typically come with some sort of sign-up bonus anywhere from $100 to $250. And because they have a sign-up bonus, there's usually a minimum spend requirement that can range anywhere from $300 to $500. From a lifestyle perspective, I imagine you're a recent grad, you just got your first job, you're starting to go out a little bit more, you're living on your own, of course, in a new city, wherever you are, so you're spending a little bit more. And so a card that has some sort of cashback earnings, whether it's 1.5%, 2%, or even 5% would be amazing at this point, and that's exactly what we're going to look at. Cards like the Chase Freedom Flex and the Chase Freedom Unlimited are a great entry point if you want to maximize in categories like travel, dining, restaurants. Of course, if you don't want to think about where your spend is, you could always get a card like the Citi Double Cash for 2% cash back on everything. At this stage, there's probably a lot of moving parts. New job, new city, new environment. So when it comes to credit cards, we're keeping it simple at a no annual fee card where you don't have to worry too much about where exactly you're putting the maximum spend to get the maximum benefit. You're just spending, so you're starting to get some cash back. In addition though, you can see now where credit score is starting to build up slowly. The next age group, and it's starting to get exciting now, 26 to 29. We're expecting you're going to have anywhere from good to very good credit. Anywhere from 700 to about 759 or so. Here's where it gets fun because here's where the vast majority of all those fun credit cards are. These are the ones that are gonna give you cash back, give you travel rewards, what I would deem mid-tier credit cards. These credit cards will start having an annual fee, anywhere from $50 up to $250. Now, I will say the vast majority though are gonna come with an annual fee of around $100 or so. I wanna give you a good range so you understand, but the majority are gonna be around $100. And what's really nice about these cards, they're starting to give a much higher sign-up bonus. The sign-up bonus values could range anywhere from $500 to about $1,250. The spend requirement is certainly gonna be higher, anywhere from $1,000 up to about $4,000 of spend in order to achieve the sign-up bonus. And considering lifestyle at this point, you're likely a couple years into a job, you've gotten a promotion, you're starting to work more, right? It's getting a little fun. You have a little bit of more money to spend. And so I think it's perfectly okay at this point to have at least one credit card that has an annual fee, simply because you're gonna have much better earnings and better benefits. At this stage, you're likely eating out a little bit more. You're likely also looking to travel more, potentially abroad. Cards such as the Chase Sapphire Preferred for travel or the American Express Gold to maximize your grocery and restaurant spend are amazing. The Capital One Venture is another one I have to recommend simply because it gives you free global entry, which is expedited entry into the United States, as well as TSA PreCheck, and it only comes in at $95. Given that global entry is $100, it's a bit of a no-brainer. This would also be a great time to consider getting a credit card specific to where you like to stay or where you like to fly. A card I recommend for American Airlines flyers is the Barclays A Aviator. Coming in at a $95 annual fee, it's typically a 60,000 mile sign-up bonus, after your first purchase, which I think is a bit of a no-brainer. I can go on and on about all the cards in this category because it's really the widest, but you really only need one, at most two, to feel like you're in a good spot. The next stage we're going to look at, and I'm gonna apologize in advance because I don't mean to bucket everybody in here because I myself am gonna be around here pretty soon, are the 30 and over crowd. When I was trying to make this video, it didn't make sense to look at the 20s, 30s, and 40s and try to match a card to it because it really just takes too long. It doesn't really take that long to start scaling up your credit score to get more and more premium cards. So that's the reason why this was very heavily focused in your 20s. So back to 30 and over. You've done it right, you followed the guide, you've played the game. At this point, you're looking at a very good credit score, which is in the neighborhood of 760. Hats off to you and a round of applause, because at 760, you are set. You're set for success, not only in terms of getting a good credit card, but really in terms of getting a good loan on any product. Mortgage, auto, you name it. You are in the top of the top. Don't worry so much about a perfect credit score because honestly, 850 is not worth it. Usually around 760 is where you're gonna get the best rates for any sort of loan product. Let's get to the credit cards. The cards in this category are the top of the top. At a minimum, I would consider having at least one of these cards to really maximize how you are spending, especially if you are a traveler. They come with an annual fee starting at $450, and the sign-up bonus typically can range anywhere from as low as $900 up to $1,250. The minimum spend requirement typically is around $4,000 up to about $6,000 or so. Lifestyle at this point, you likely have a family. When you're doing travel, it might not be just you traveling, and so getting a premium card where you're putting a lot of aggregate spend on in order to subsidize family trips, I think is gonna be a priority. On the flip side, if you aren't starting a family or you don't have a family yet, that's perfectly okay because now all the points go to you. These type of credit cards are gonna come with the lounge access, the concierge service, the higher earnings rate. It pretty much is the top of the top. As far as card recommendations, I would say look at the Chase Sapphire Reserve or the American Express Platinum. And if you want a specific either airline or hotel card, I love the American Express Bonvoy Brilliant. Coming in at a $450 annual fee, there's actually a $300 credit to use at any Marriott property, effectively $150. It also comes with an anniversary credit, and so that easily takes care of that $150 annual fee. It's been a great video. I appreciate everyone tuning in. As you can clearly see here, a lot of this is weighted to those who are in their 20s and 30s. But that's not to say that you can't apply the same principles in your 30s, 40s, and 50s. This is more to say that when it comes to building a strong credit score and getting credit cards, it doesn't take a lifetime. Really, it takes at most, I would say 10 years. There are some people in 2 to 3 years could get all of this done. Of course, they might be starting out at a slightly higher credit score, so don't worry. And to that effect, don't worry about what the person next to you has and so forth. Just worry about where you are on your credit journey, whether you're starting at 600 or 700, or maybe you're starting at 500. It doesn't matter. We're all on our individual journeys, but the end goal is the same nonetheless, which is to get a competitive credit score so that we can set ourselves up for financial success. Please let me know in the comment section below, where are you in your credit score journey? Have you gotten 1 card, 2 card, 3 cards? Are you considering another, or are you all set? It's been an incredible What Card Wednesday, and I'll catch y'all next Wednesday. Peace!